Good morning and welcome to this online hearing of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Ottawa under the Planning Act. This video conference is also live streaming on YouTube. With me are my fellow panel members, Stephen Lewis and Martin Vervoort. My name is Fabian Poulin and I will be chairing this hearing today. The procedure for this hearing will be as follows. Listed on the agenda and appearing on the screen are the applications we will hear today. For the sake of efficiency, the committee may deal with the agenda items in a different order. Committee members have reviewed the planning reports and any written submissions in support or in opposition of each of the applications. Today, we'll hear oral submissions from any interested parties. Notice regarding minor variance applications, notwithstanding pre-consultation with city staff, it is the responsibility of the applicant to identify all required variances accurately on the application to one, add a new variance or increase the extent of the variance requested. It must be given in accordance with the Planning Act and may require the application to be recirculated for the next hearing date at a cost to the applicant at the prescribed fee. If an applicant amends their plans with no impact to the variances or to reduce the variance requested, recirculation may not be required. As part of the statutory notification requirements, each applicant was required to post a sign on the property and file a statutory declaration confirming the sign posting. This declaration must be on file today before we can hear the application. Without it, I may have to adjourn the application or administer an oath if necessary. Can the coordinator confirm that we've received all statutory declarations?
Mr. Chair, we've received one statutory declaration for items 8 and 9, 199 Langstaff Drive. All other items will need the oath read.
Thank you very much. The committee may ask for a brief presentation of the application followed by questions from members and submissions from the public. Please address your comments to the chair, starting first with your name and spelling it if necessary, and your municipal address for the record. The committee limits presentations to 5 minutes. Any exceptions will be at the discretion of the chair. Before we begin, we have 2 items to address. Does any member have or present need to declare an interest in any of the applications that are before us today or that are on the agenda of another panel? Any declarations of interest, Mr. Lewis, Mr. Vervoort? No, there are no declarations of interest. We also have minutes of the July 6th and July 20th public hearing. I'd like to ask panel to approve the minutes of July 6th. All those in favor, please raise your hands. And I'd like to ask you to approve the minutes of July 20th. Please raise your hands if you agree. Those minutes are adopted. Thank you very much. We will now hear the applications scheduled for this hearing, and we'll first deal with items that may be adjourned. I believe there is one item requested to be adjourned. That is item number 4, having to do with 790 Bayview Drive, requested by the Planning Department. And yes, and the agent on file is Ms. Tracy Zander. Ms. Zander, are you available?
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Good morning, Ms. Zander. Are you in agreement with this adjournment request from planning?
Yes, I've discussed with my clients. We've already begun some revisions to address the staff comments, but we are agreeable to the adjournment as requested by staff and understand that we'll need to be sine die because there will be some changes to the variances as requested. So we are agreeable to that.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'd now like to ask the panel for approval of this adjournment. Sine die. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is adjourned, Ms. Zander. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we'll proceed with items in order, beginning with application number 1. Application number 1 has to do with 2121 Huntley Road. Mr. Robinson, are you available? Good morning, Mr. Robinson.
Good morning, everyone.
I need to administer the oath concerning the sign posting on your property. Sir, are you available to take that oath today?
Yes, I am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time? Do you swear?
I do swear that to be true.
Thank you very much, sir. The panel notes that none of the agencies, no planning, conservation authority, have any concerns with respect to this application. And to that end, I'd like to jump right to the panel and ask the panel for approval of this application. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is approved, Mr. Robinson. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Now on to application number 2. This has to do with 3154 York's Corners Road. Ms. Zander, are you available?
A little bit of a lag. Here I am again. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you take the oath concerning the signposting for the property?
I cannot, Mr. Chair, but my client, Mr. Hickling, is here and he can take that oath. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hickling, you're muted at the present time. Could you unmute yourself and I'll administer the oath? There you are. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Great. I'd like to administer oath concerning the signposting. Sir, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time? Do you swear?
yes, I do.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, Ms. Zander, the panel notes that none of the agencies have any concerns with respect to this application. However, Planning Department requests 5 conditions should this application be approved. Are you aware of those conditions and do you agree with them?
Yes, Mr. Hickling and I have discussed those and we are in agreement with the recommended conditions.
Perfect, thank you. I'd just like to ask Conservation Authority if they have any comments they would like to make. I note that they do have no concerns, but there are some things that they may want to read into the record. Nope, there is nothing. So that's okay then. So now moving on to the panel, I'd like to ask the panel for approval of this application. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is approved, Ms. Zander. Thank you, Mr.
Very good.
Hickling.
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Now moving on to application number 3. This has to do with 2285 Summerside Drive. Mr. Hoovel, are you available? I see a Dave. You're muted, sir.
There we go. Okay, yes, I am.
Good morning. I'd like to
Morning.
administer an oath concerning the sign posting for this property. Can you take that oath today?
Yes, I can.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time. Do you swear?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much, sir. So I do note that there is, well, maybe we should just get a quick overview of your application, sir.
Okay, what my client is looking for is a relief of the corner side yard setback, which has been set as 6 meters and wants to get down to a 2.9 meter. The reason being, he would like to have a two-car attached garage. And there's no way to fit that 2-car in that spot on the side yard, corner side yard. That's the reason why he would like it that way. He does have family, has more than 1 car, and he would like to have both vehicles in the garage in the wintertime. And that's the main reason why. Basically, in order to attach the garage, that's pretty much the only location you could have the garage.
Okay. Now I'd like to ask Planning Department for their comments, please. Mr. Kukkonen, are you available?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Yes, I am. Thank you. So yes, staff would like to note that we have significant concerns with the requested minor variance. Basically, so the corner side yard in this location is intended to reflect and maintain the existing setbacks of the front yards that are adjacent along Summerside Road. So in the zoning bylaw, that's meters, whereas the front yard setbacks are 7.0 meters required for the front yards adjacent. Now, this application requests to reduce that corner yard setback from 6.0 to 2.9 meters. It's the opinion of staff that reducing that setback, that minimum required corner yard setback, is not minor in this instance. It's going to be far too close to the road, especially in comparison to the large setbacks that are in existence in this location. Typically, based on the aerial footage and the street view, the typical setbacks in this location are very large, more typical in the rural setting, approximately 15 meters or so. So when you're reducing that minimum required setback to 2.9 meters, you're getting very close to the roadway there, and that really stands out to the character of the existing streetscape.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, Mr. Hovel?
Yes. I realize we are a corner lot, and we are on River Road, which is subject to a larger setback of, I do believe, 7.5 meters or 9 meters. And if you look at this house, the existing house, we are already off of River Road. We are already 15.85 meters. We will be 23 meters from River Road at the most northerly corner of the proposed garage. And as well, when you're coming easterly on Summerside towards River Road, the putting in of the garage does not affect the view you have at all southerly going down River Road because of the two trees in the southeast corner of the property. That view, those trees are never coming down. So the view of the main road, River Road, is not affected at all by the attachment of this garage. Realize we're a little bit close to the road, but it is the only way my client can get a two-car garage into an attached garage so that he can, have a little better quality in the wintertime to get into his house. We are, like I say, 15 meters back from the property line off of River Road. So we are way beyond the setback for that one.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Kukkonen?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I would just like to say that I do appreciate those comments, Mr. Huel. We are not concerned about the setback off of River Road. It's really Summerside Road that is what we're looking at here and where we have concerns in being located so close to Summerside Road. The established setbacks along Summerside Road are quite large, and moving it even closer to Summerside Road in this instance does not fit within that character. And in fact, the neighbors directly across the street from you on Summerside Road will have a direct view into the side of that garage, especially since the only screening tree that may provide screening for the attached garage will be removed as proposed in this project to reconstruct. And just additionally, I would like to note that in my review, it appeared that there was some space in the existing development envelope towards River Road that could be appropriate for the garage, but I may be mistaken in that sense. It looked as though there was room to move closer towards River Road to fit the attached garage.
Madam Coordinator, do we have any pictures, or Mr. Hovel, do you have any pictures or that we can see what you were discussing? Maybe in the meantime, Mr. Kukkonen, can you tell
I'm
us?
working on it.
Okay, and can you tell us if there's been any objections from neighbors?
Not to my knowledge, we have not received any objections from neighbors.
Okay. No, I see a Jamie Leclerc on the line.
Hello.
Yes. Hi, Mr. Leclerc.
How you doing? I'm the homeowner for 2285 Summerside.
Good morning.
And I just wanted to state that, when you say it's close to the road, it's not necessarily close to the road, it's close to the city line, right? So a 30-foot motorhome could even fit, like there's 30 feet from the edge of the garage to the actual asphalt of the road. And the neighbors across the street I have spoken to, this house was like the sore thumb of the neighborhood, and I've moved into it was abandoned for years and rented for decades. Anyhow, they're completely satisfied that this upgrade is going to happen. I talked to them yesterday, and I know them quite well. So I don't think there's been any other complaints by anyone in my 200-meter radius either regarding this structure. So I just wanted to mention that.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Sure. Thank you.
No problem.
Any pictures, Mr. Hovel?
I'm trying to, I must apologize. I'm computer wise. I have the picture up. I'm just not, there we go.
Dave, do you have the
Chair.
illustration that I created too?
Yes, Madam Coordinator. Just a minute. Yes, Madam Coordinator.
Panelists cannot share their screen. He'll have to send that in by email and we can screen share it.
Okay. In the meantime, I'd just like to ask the panel if they have any comments or questions. Mr. Lewis?
I don't think I have a problem with this application, but like you, I'd like to see a picture of what the streetscape is like.
Okay. Mr. Vervoort?
Just a question for the applicant. So it seems to me that the other possible location, I guess, for the garage would be at the side of the house, sort of on the yard that fronts on River Road. Is there a particular reason why the garage is in this location?
Do you mind if I answer that, Dave?
Go ahead, Jeeves.
Yeah. So the reason that garage is there's a mudroom entrance door on that sidewall where the existing garage, where the current garage, where the proposed garage is suggested. And so there's a stairway and an entrance into a mudroom and a powder room. So pushing that garage back would then start to cut into the backyard and the building that's currently there right now, which will become a storage shed, and into the deck area. So it really, if you push it back, it also affects the aesthetics of the home. Because if you can see, the southern part of the house sticks out about 3 feet, and that's a bedroom that's stacked. And that garage is going to mimic that 3 feet aesthetic sticking out, going towards the east of Summerside.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Kukkonen.
Just in relation to Mr. Lewis's comments, I have provided a street view of the streetscape in my report that he can refer to.
Mr. Chair, we can bring that image in.
Thank you. Please do.
Perfect.
I also have a photorealistic illustration of the attached garage from multiple angles too, that we can provide at another point.
Is this what you were referring to, Mr. Kukkonen?
Yes, that's correct.
Where's your property, Mr. Leclerc? Right side, left side?
Yeah, so it's on the left side. That view is actually not near my house, like it's 2 lots down almost.
Okay.
Sorry, was it mentioned that I can't share screen as a panelist? Is that
Yes, you have to
Okay.
send it into the coordinator and she'll be able to put it onto the.
okay? Just wanted
website.
to make
Do
sure.
you have the website? Do you have the email address for the coordinator?
If you could provide it, then I definitely will have it.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chair, it's cofa@ottawa.ca.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, is that something you want me to fire to you right now?
Yes,
during the-
please.
Oh, okay. I'll get on it right away. COFA. they're sent right now. It's two versions, one kind of a 3/4 of the house and the garage, and then one from the road looking at where that side wall would be facing Summerside.
We've received it. We'll a minute.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Do you want to
So
take
if
us
you-
through that? Sure, thanks.
If you don't mind me commenting, that the two the hedges there, the little cedars, that is about 3 feet back from the culvert itself. That is in the ditch, and then however many feet that is to the asphalt. So it is close to 30 feet from that wall to the asphalt road.
And there's not going to be, other than a person door, there's not going to be a garage door on that elevation.
No. So there's another image attached there. So you can scroll down. This is what the C-shaped driveway would look like. And you can see where a car or a trailer or a boat, anything could park on that pre-existing driveway that's currently there.
Okay.
So that's where the garage is now coming out 3 feet to match the far left of the home.
Perfect. Okay. Any other further comments, Mr. Kukkonen?
No further comments at this time, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Hovel, any further comments?
Yes. It's my understanding as well that because of the way the property is, this house has been established and built with the front yard being assumed as being River Road. So the house itself looks like it is facing River Road, which is why we put the garage where it is. Even though the address is on Summerside Drive, we are being restricted due to a side yard corner. So I've always made the assumption that Summerside was the side yard, not the front of the property. And so that also had a big decision in how that garage was proposed on the property. As you've seen in that picture from James, the front of the house basically faces River Road.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so I'd like to ask the panel if they have any further comments. Mr. Lewis, after seeing the pictures, any
No,
thoughts?
I'm good.
Okay, Mr. Vervoort?
No, I'm fine. I think, given the nature of the proposed addition and the constraints on the lot, I think under the specific circumstances of this application, I feel that the application meets the 4 tests.
Thank you, Mr. Vervoort. So I would like to ask the panel for approval of this application without any conditions. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is approved, Mr. Leclerc. Mr. Hovel, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're moving on to application number 5 and 6, having to do with 1500 Thomas R.U. Road. Ms. Potts, are you available?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Sorry, there was a little delay there.
That's okay, Ms. Potts. Thank you very much. I need to administer an oath concerning the sign posting on the property. Can you take that oath this morning?
Yes, I can.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed, and was clearly visible and legible during that time. Do you swear?
Yes, I do swear.
Thank you very much. I have a little bit of housekeeping to do with respect to the amendment to the public notice, specifically having to do with the frontage. The frontage will be on, there'll be a 26.26 meter frontage on Wingover, private, and then a 73.96 meter frontage on an unnamed private road. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
We will also remove from the notice the following words after the words septic system, and will be known municipally as 1500 Thomas R.U. Road. Is that correct?
That is, yes.
And 2 other items. The parcel will be containing New Carp Airport Operations Building associated with hangars and buildings, and will be known municipally as 1500 Thomas Argue Road and not 1502 Argue Road.
Yeah, so the correction there is just that the retained lands will be continue to be known as 1500 Thomas Argue Road. That's what the airport is addressed, and the severed lot, which in the notice was described as 1500 Thomas Argue Road, will be assigned a new address.
Perfect. Thank you. And finally, that the width of the portion of the lands, retained lands in favor of the severed lot will have a width of 15 meters, not 16.33 meters. And the words "on a private road" will be struck. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Perfect. I note that the planning department has no concerns. However, it has 3 conditions. Are you familiar with those 3 conditions, ma'am?
Yes, we are. We've reviewed the conditions and we agree with the conditions.
Thank you very much. I note that that MVCA had some comments. Would conservation partners like to make some comments?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, the Conservation Authority has no objections with the subject applications as currently proposed. We do note that there are several water courses located on the retained lands, and any works associated with them will require an MVCA permit.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. I would also like to ask the panel now for approval of this application with 3 conditions. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is approved, Ms. Potts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your morning.
Thank you. Moving on to application number 7. This application has to do with 4181 Trim Road. Lucille McFadden, are you available? I see your name is McFadden, but I don't see, you're muted at the present time.
Oh, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am. I would like to administer an oath concerning the sign posting on your property. Can you take that oath this morning?
Yes, I can.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time? Do you swear?
Yes, I swear.
Would you like to take us through your application, ma'am, briefly?
Yes. Well, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak, Mr. Chair. What we're looking for is we're asking for a variance. The requirement for the new freestall barn, the construction, is 192 meters or 126.7 from the nearest dwelling. The nearest dwelling is 4120 Trim Road, which is owned by ourselves. We're one of the applicants. Also, the legal description is lot 15 as per our application, and is lot 15 and not lot 14. Now, I know the city's planning department, they had an issue with the application, but I believe it's because they noted that lot 14, which is located directly across from our dwelling, the nearest dwelling, the 4120. So I think they may have an issue because of that. You will note we posted, we got a letter from OMAFRA, and then the minimum setback to a drilled well is only 15 meters from the barn and pile of pack manure. The correct proposed barn position will meet all these setbacks on all adjacent properties and will also meet the Nutrient Management Act regulations. The 120 meters setback from the existing well is greater than what is required. We have also obtained a petition by all our neighbors. I think so you'll have the petition there, that they have no concerns with the proposed location. So if we adhere to the MDS requirement of 192 meters, what that means is that the new barn facility would be located way past the heifer barn and the manure pit. And this, of course, is just not economically feasible, since the new barn, it has to be connected to the heifer barn for feeding management purposes, because that's where the feeding room and the silos are located. And also you have to have the connection, because when the animals move from the heifer barn to the dairy barn facility, you want to avoid injuries. So, for transitioning them to the new milking barn. And also, like, this would mean, like, if we have to put it way back to meet the 192 meters, that means it's a substantial additional cost, because you'll need will be incurred because of the water, the electrical, and site preparation. Okay, this is not a sympathy card I'm playing here, but our dairy operation has suffered large financial loss during the last windstorm. We lost our dairy barn, 4 sheds, our 3 harvest store silos were damaged, the machinery, as well as major damage to all our residential properties. And as a side note, and a very important note, is that all dairy operations, they have to adhere to dairy codes of practice to maintain their dairy license to ship their milk. And with the new proposed codes of practice, which are expected to be published later this year, requires that all producers must house lactating cattle in loose housing and not in a tie stall facility, which is what we had before the windstorm. So that means, like, we have to go larger. So even where it was, so where it was is that front building right in front of where the heifer barn is. So that barn, it was destroyed. So even if we were to rebuild exactly where it was, we still wouldn't meet the city's requirements, or the OMAFRA's requirements. And the other thing is that we have to get moving as soon as possible, because we have a builder that has been, we've got a builder that's lined up. And before we get our permits, like, we want to have the footings in hopefully late this fall. And if we can't meet that requirement, that means we'll lose our builder, and the dairy, our main source of income, will be delayed like till 2024. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. McFadden. I'd like to ask Planning Department, Mr. Harrigan, if you've got any comments to make.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, the Planning Department does have some concerns with this application. Those concerns have been lessened by the additional information that Ms. McFadden has provided since my report was finalized. As of right now, we do understand the need for a minor variance in this application. They do have all of the supporting facilities there, including the manure pit, a lot of the silos, the barns, the secondary structures, all the facilities really. So we do understand that they do need to construct a barn that will be within the prescribed setback, and it is necessary just given the current circumstances of the site. At this case, we're just looking to make the best out of the opportunity that is here. So my report made some comments about the well. It was just due to the rationale was provided in the cover letter, just noting that they were moving farther away from their well. It was a good thing, but didn't touch on that they were moving closer to their neighbor's well. In that case, they still have provided new information that does ensure that it is still compliant with the setbacks required for the well, so we don't have any more concerns with that. Really, at this point, we just have minor concerns because we believe that this proposal could be made slightly better. For example, even if we were to move the barn 30 meters or so farther back from the road, it would just provide that additional setback, that additional measure of comfortability, that if they do ever sell the adjacent properties, any nuisance complaints really might be lessened because of that. And it could still tie into the existing facilities. However, we do recognize that this is a minor modification or minor concern, but really it's just, that's the only concern the department has, is just trying to make the best of the situation. But they have done a great job in terms of accounting for all the neighbors and the wind direction and the nuisance for that. So really it's just minor concerns about the exact placement and if we could make it slightly better.
Thank you, Mr. Harrigan. I'd like to see if Ms. McFadden is happy with those minor requests that the city is asking for?
We looked at this, and the proposed location is really the best location. We could move it slightly back, 20 meters, we'd be okay with that. But it would have to be like at least to the corner of where the heifer barn is, so that we could just to transition the animals from the heifer barn to the milking barn. Thank you.
Ms. McFadden, is the present location of your proposed building the best one for your business?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. I'd like to ask the panel now if they've got any comments. Mr. Lewis?
Yeah, thank you, Fabian. No, I support the application the way it is. I'm glad to see Mr. Harrigan has came around a little bit to see things the way I think they should be looked at. Anyway, I support the application. I wish the applicant luck to get things going and get their lives back to normal. And just one comment on the moving it back might be better for future selling of properties. Probably not going to happen, but we also got to look at the buyer beware. If you buy a house, you'll see the barn next door. It's not something that's going to creep up on you. Those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Mr. Vervoort, any comments?
I agree generally with Mr. Lewis's comments, and I think moving the barn back encroaches on the tillable agricultural land in behind as well. So I know it's not perfect, but I think under the circumstances, the application meets the 4 tests, and I think all in all is reasonable. So I'm in favor of the application.
Thank you very much. I would now like to ask the panel for approval of this application. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is approved, Ms. McFadden. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. On to item 8 and 9. This application has to do with 199 Langstaff Drive. Ms. Libman, are you available?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning. I note that you have presented us with the declaration concerning the sign posting. We do not have to administer the oath for you. Thank you very much. And I also note that Planning and Conservation Authority, those agencies do not have any concerns with your application. There is just one condition, that is a lot line adjustment condition. Are you familiar and agree with that condition, ma'am?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. I would like now to ask the panel for approval of both applications. One's consent, the other one is a minor variance. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is approved, Ms. Libman. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes our business for today. Thank you all very much. Have a